Hey, what's good, everybody? Is my audio coming in clear?
Yes.
Sounds good. We're about to get started. We start at 5:15 or 8:15 Eastern time. I'm going to wait a few more minutes for people to jump on. If you have any questions, feel free to use the chat box, ask away. I put some resources in our chat box. And forgive me, my throat's a little parched today. I'm recovering from the infamous Rona. So just forgive me if I'm a little low energy today, but I'll try to navigate as best as I could through this webinar. Uh, Anyhow, the chat box will have some information. The chat box has our support number. It's a toll-free number. It is 1-833 646-9955. We do offer support 7 days a week. 7 days a week again, 1-833-646-9955. Previously, we were offering support 4 days a week, then we went to 5 days a week, and we decided 7 days a week is a good number for us. We do operate off the Central Standard Time. I'm located out of the West Coast. I go by DJ. My partner, Charles, he operates out of the East Coast. He's the other half to the support team. We also have Veronica out of the East Coast down in Florida. And we have Vincent, who's also out of California. So you may get one of us when you call the support line. We're here to help you with any questions you have related to TouchPix and how to get your event up and running with no issues whatsoever. There is a lot of components to TouchPix, so I know there's not that many people on the call right now, but just to get a good gauge as far as what you want to learn, I want to know who's on the call and I guess rate yourself, one being the beginner, two being familiar with TouchPix, somewhat intermediate, and then three more of the moderate to advanced. If you can just put a number in the chat box, it gives me a good idea of who I'm speaking with and you know, how familiar you are with the software. Perfect. I see some twos. I do see a one. Definitely. If you have any questions, feel free to use the chat box, and I'll try to answer any of these questions as they come up. Once I get into the webinar, though, I kind of go on autopilot for a minute, and I go off a little script that I have. But feel free to pause if the group is small. Typically, I get about 35 participants or higher. On a busy day, we're up at 80. It looks like today might be somewhat of a slow day. I do expect that because we've now hit the new year. January and February seem to be very, very slow. So I do expect a decrease in attendees based on January, February seem to be off seasons for events. But no, this is a time for everybody to learn the software, get familiar with your platforms, get familiar with the software, figure out your design skills, whether you're going to be using Photoshop, Canva, or you're going to hire out a designer. Feel free to navigate through those steps and always ask away. We're a resource. We want you to succeed. If you're here, it's because you're considering the use of TouchPix, and we want you to have the best experience possible and know that there's a team behind you as far as when you need support. We're pretty proactive in providing that support. We also have a Facebook group, right? Our Facebook group, I just toggled over. I'm going to see if you guys are able to see that. Our Facebook group is called the TouchPix user group. It's look, it has over 5,000 members right now. Feel free to join that group. It is a huge resource for a lot of you, right? Ask questions, right? But do some research. I think some people get a little intimidated in posting because they'll get some remarks. And the remarks usually come from people who are always asking for answers without doing any of their basic research. We're the moderators, but we don't oversee the group as far as you know. We're not babysitting people, so just be grown people, be respectful, and I think you'll have a good experience in that group. So I'm looking at the chat box now. Photo Booth Expo. Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and talk about Photo Booth Expo for a bit as well. It is, if you guys are new to the industry, never been in the industry, this is the show that I would highly recommend you attend. It is the show that has a lot of booth manufacturers, not only 360 photo booths, but I mean video booth. You'll also get mirror booths. You'll also get roaming photo booths. You'll get standard photo booths. This year, it's actually going to be held alongside Mobile Beat. For those of you who don't know what Mobile Beat is, it is a DJ convention. So it's going to be side by side with Mobile Beat. If you're in the event industry, this is the show to go to. It is in Las Vegas. It is located at South Point. It's a beautiful resort where you can stay at an affordable price. It's typically the week of, I think this year it's going to be February 21st or 22nd when the expo starts through the 24th, I believe. Las Vegas, you can go to photoboothexpo.com. You can register if you're going to become, if you want to book a room or you want to book your stay there. We do have a, what's called a, they have a room rate where you can get the rooms at an affordable price. It is in Las Vegas. Anybody in the industry goes to this, whether you're in the industry to buy props, whether you're in the industry to buy backdrops, if you want a new 360 photo booth, but you actually want to go ahead and test it and see it for yourself live and in person, this would be a wonderful show for you to do that. You will have manufacturers such as Atlanta Photo Booth. You're going to have your infamous Revo Spin in the house. You are going to have Desentech. Pretty sure you will see a Selfie Box 96 spinner. You will see the Eddie Barber Spin Cam. You will see the Nona booth by Moses Ortiz. He goes by mobooths.com. There's probably a variety of other 360 booth providers such as OrcaView. So you will see all of these different 360 booths. You'll be able to put your hands on it and test it out for, you know, for whatever that's worth. I know a lot of people buy booths from overseas and sometimes you don't get the luxury to actually test them out. So TouchPix will be in the building. Photo Booth Expo, we do actually have reserved two huge booths. So we're going to be in two sets of the floor on opposite ends. And we will have two separate stands representing TouchPix. And stop by, say hello if you're in the area. We will be there live and direct, and hopefully we can show off some of the new features that are going to be released soon. All right, it's about 8:15 now. I'm going to go ahead and get started. Is there anything specific you guys want to know before I start my regular routine? Are you guys more in tune with, are you guys having any issues with sharing stations? Or should I just go through my standard webinar? And if you guys want to ask questions, you guys can ask away. All right, I'm going to go through my webinar process here. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and do a screen mirror. You guys are now looking at, you guys will be looking at my iPhone shortly here. Give me one quick second here. Let me make sure I'm on the same Wi-Fi, which I am. Okay, here we go. All right, here we go. You guys can probably see my iPhone now. Again, my name is DJ. I work for TouchPix. I've been on the support team for over 2 years. So I'm not only a TouchPix employee, but I've been using TouchPix for over 2 years. I migrated from a different app that they had at the time, and it seems to have worked out great for all of my events. But I will say this, TouchPix is not a perfect app. I don't think there is a perfect app out there, but it's getting very close. You got to know what you're kind of dealing with technology wise, whether you're going to be using an iPhone or you're going to be using a GoPro. TouchPix does work, right? But just like anything else, your GoPro battery dies, something loses connections, you're going to need to know what to do to either reset your situation or plug in a new battery and reset the connection. Or if you just are going to want to pivot to an iPhone, you can actually do that, right? So there's different scenarios that may come up. I just suggest you guys practice with the app and get very familiar with it. So if in the event something is kind of whether you forget your GoPro charging cable, you forget your external battery pack, you'll be able to pivot right away. So this is my iPhone. I'm going to start with showing you how to download TouchPix from the very beginning. So once you download TouchPix, you're going to go actually to the Apple App Store. At the very top, as you can see, you're going to type in TouchPix. In this case, I already have TouchPix downloaded. I'm going to click open. I just did a clean install, right? So this is the TouchPix app, right? It's going to give you I'm going to hit go back. It's going to give you a video tutorial on how to set up TouchPix. It's going to give you a testing mode for both the 360 slow motion booth, or it's going to give you a testing mode for photo booth. You actually can test TouchPix free. You don't have to be a subscriber. You can test it to see how it works. I will show you how to do different functions on it now, but you can test it without paying a dime, right? The only thing that on the test mode you won't be allowed to do is you will not be allowed to send out text messages or emails, and the output image will be watermarked, right? The reason behind the text message and emails is because when you buy a subscription, it costs money to send out text messages or email. So when you buy a subscription, it's already included in the subscription, right? Like most other photo booth software, TouchPix uses Twilio to send out your SMS text messages. You don't have to put in a Twilio account or token number. You don't have to do any of that. TouchPix has already taken care of all of that. But that's the provider that we use to send out text messages, right? If you're looking at the subscriptions tab, you can click on the subscriptions tab, and TouchPix has 3 packages. It has your weekly $49.99 package. It also has a monthly package of $139 or $140, and a yearly package of $1,000. So a lot of questions I get typically are, which one best fits my needs? And that's something that you're going to have to reevaluate your current state, right? If you're brand new into the photo booth or 360 slow motion booth industry, and you don't have a lot of clients, then I recommend you go weekly, right? Till you build up your clientele or till you build up more bookings. I think weekly makes a lot of sense for some people. You can turn off the subscription when you're not using it. It doesn't mean you won't have access to your TouchPix account. It just means that once the week runs out, you won't be able to use it till you reactivate it. But you'll always have access to your TouchPix account. You'll always have access to your prior work and your prior galleries. TouchPix stores your prior work on the online gallery for up to a year. Okay, so if you are established, right, and you have more than one, you have maybe more than one 360 booth, right? Maybe you may want to explore the monthly option, right? It's $140. The thing with the TouchPix subscription is that with a TouchPix subscription, you can activate it on as many devices as you own, right? So if you own multiple iPhones, multiple iPads, and maybe you want to do an iPad photo booth for a drop-off unit, right? You can use TouchPix all at the same time and leave it as a drop-off unit and do photo booth for one thing and then go run and do your 360 video booth for another event, right? The only caveat with these subscriptions that they do need to, all your devices need to be under the same Apple ID email address. And I'll explain to you what that is shortly. Now, if you're more of a, if you've been in the business for quite some time and you have multiple booths and you have various 360s, then the yearly plan might make better sense for you. It's more cost effective. It's $1,000 a year, right? But it'll, like I said, if you're running, for example, I run a multi-op, I run a DJ photo booth company. I do have about 8 photo booths, maybe about 4 of them are iPad booths, and I could do drop-off units. So for car dealerships, for bars, for wineries, those are easy money for me because I just drop off my iPad, set up a quick backdrop, pick it up the following day, right? And you can, whatever your business plan is, TouchPix has a subscription packet for you. So I'm just explaining to you what that is. I'm going to back out of the app for a second because I want to let you know where you actually. So you would make the subscription purchase here from the app. Everything goes through the Apple App Store, just like Spotify, just like Apple Music. TouchPix doesn't handle any of the financial aspects directly. Everything goes through your Apple App Store, right? If you want to cancel your subscription, this is what you do. You go back into the Apple App Store, right? I'm going to go ahead and click cancel up top. Once you're in the Apple App Store, you're going to see this round silhouette right here. Typically, it's whatever picture you uploaded on your phone, right? Or whatever, whether it's the icon of your business, whatever you uploaded. You're going to click on that circle. Once you click on that circle, it's going to give you the name of your phone. In this case, I named it the name of my company. This is my Apple ID email address associated to this device, right? So when you register for a TouchPix account, it's important that you use an Apple ID email address that's associated to your business account. What I want to explain to people is sometimes people buy one iPad and one iPhone because they're just getting started, but they're actually tying it to their personal pictures, to their personal information. I want you guys to create a separate Apple ID email account that's just for your business, right? Because if you scale up your business, if you're doing really well, right, and you start buying more devices, you don't want to have all these other devices have access to your personal information. So create a business email, Apple ID email address, and you could log in and out from here once you proceed. But once you're here, right, you're going to see this tab called subscriptions. I'm going to click on subscriptions. These are all the subscriptions I have under that Apple ID email address, right? These are my paid subscriptions that I have, right? You're going to see TouchPix at the bottom. You're going to see it as expired, right? If I wanted to cancel it or renew it, I would click on this and click the next menu would say renew, or it would say cancel subscription. And that stops the reoccurring payments because the subscription does do reoccurring payments, right? It's important also for me to note that if you are in a subscription, please cancel your subscription at least 3 days before it expires. It doesn't mean that we're shorting you 3 days. It's just preventing from Apple from auto charging your credit card and you calling us saying, hey, what's up? You guys charged my card and my subscription hasn't expired. So Apple has a tendency of charging people at least 2 or 3 days before the subscription expires and it auto renews the subscription. You guys have any questions with that whatsoever? Perfect. So I'm going to jump over to a different screen now because I'm going to explain the web interface for TouchPix. Give me a sec here.
What's going on, DJ?
Hey, what's up, Charles?
Hey, everybody,
this is Charles. I'm going to let him introduce himself. He's the other part of the support team here with TouchPix. I'm going to let him take the mic away.
What's going on, everybody? I just wanted to say hi. Might met some of y'all on calls today. I was taking calls, so just remember that we have 7-day-a-week support. We're open 10 to 7 Central for everyone to have questions. You can also email support@touchpix.com. And just know that we're here to help you. We're here to help you succeed. Your success is our success. We're here to help you with any aspect of your business that relates to the software. And just reach out to us and keep jumping on these calls. DJ1 is amazing. Thanks, DJ.
Hey, no problem, man. Yeah, so yeah, like I said, we're covering coast to coast, and he does the East Coast support. I do the West, but we make it happen. So this is touchpix.com. This is the web interface. This is where you're going to live probably about 75% of the time, right? So what you need to do if you don't have an account, you're going to click on login here, right? You click on login, and if you're using TouchPix for the very first time, you're going to want to register. And when you register here, you can register with your name and your business name, whatever you want to do. And make sure you register with that Apple ID email address that I showed you where it was at from your phone, right? It's right on your app store. You're going to click the little silhouette of whatever picture you have uploaded, and then you'll be able to see what your Apple ID is. Like I said before, make sure if I was in your situation, I'd create a business Apple ID. That way you tie everything to your business and you don't have everything mismatching from your personal to your business area. So you may want to register with your business Apple ID in here. And once you register, it'll send you an email and you create a password. And from that moment on, that's how you log in, right? I'm going to go ahead and log in and click login. As you look at the top, right, it's called, this is called the My Account dashboard, right? It's just telling you where everything is. I'm going to explain some key things before we go into creating an event. And we're going to go into the shop page real quick because I want to show you some stuff that's optional. You don't need to get it, but I want to show you that, you know, I'm going to show you a demo of how some of this stuff works. And by using this demo, then, you know, you'll see how some of these options may relate to your workflow, or you can decide this is not a good fit. You might want to go through somebody else who animates, right? And have your own stuff created. So in the shop page, we have what's called animated background effects. This applies more for the photo booth side. If you want to do a green screen and you want some green screen designs and stuff of that nature, you know, you may want to purchase some stuff that's already pre-made for you, right? And you can purchase that animated background. It's a one-time fee. Everything's already pre-formatted for our software and for whatever template you're going to use. And you can use it as long as you use our software, right? It's already pre-done artwork. You don't need it. Again, it's optional. What's very popular for the 360 users is this sparkles, light, leaks, and confetti. That seems to be very popular. A lot of people purchase it because it has a confetti type of effect, right? When you're doing your 360, not only does it have a art design, your artwork, your overlay, it's called an overlay, but this element here adds moving, like a moving overlay type of feature, right? Where you can introduce glitter packs, you can do confetti shooting out the side from the bottom. It has a bunch of different effects. Again, $75, and you can use it as long as you own it, right? It's a one-time fee. You don't need it, but it's there if you want it, right?
Is that all downloadable?
This is all downloadable. It's a zip file, and then you save it onto your computer.
How many effects are there in that one package of sparkle light leaks?
I think there's probably close to 40 or 50 different effects. I'd have to go back and look. Everything is resized per whatever template. So it's categorized by template. What do I mean by that is TouchPix offers you 5 different template sizes, right? For slow-mo overlay, and everything's already pre-sized. So you're just gonna click on the template 1 folder and you'll see all the effects that are related to that and so forth.
Thank you.
As I scroll down, we're gonna have these trigger boxes back in stock. We've been out of stock for quite some time. We're looking at an expected ETA of this coming week. This is optional. You don't need this. What this does is the software allows, if you have a motorized spinner, right, before you purchase it too, make sure you reach out to us. We are compatible with a lot of spinners, but there's some spinners that we have not tried, right? So and it does take a little bit of wiring. This connects to your motor. And what it allows is for the software, when you click start, the software will start the recording process. And as soon as the software is done recording, it stops by itself. So it's more of an automated recording process. And it kind of captures the look of the same start point and the same end point as you move forward, right? Again, it's optional. It's not really needed or required. It's just there for your convenience, right? Then we have what's called the white label subscription. We talked about these other price points, and this is our white label subscription. This is typically what you will see at our photo booth expo. This is the one that we promote. This is the one that we sell the most out of, right? What does it mean? What does white label mean, right? The way white label means with TouchPix is it allows you to purchase the software, right? Say your company is called XYZ Photo Booth. You purchase the software under your company. It's tied to your account, right? maybe you only have one 360 or two 360s, but your marketing game is phenomenal. Maybe you have a marketing game where people are calling you constantly to book your 360 and you just can't keep up with the demand, right? Maybe you're trying to offer bookings in a different state because maybe you have a cousin that works or lives in a different state that also has a platform and is working under your business, right? So what you can do with a white label is if you purchase a white label, your devices no longer need to have the same Apple ID email account. If you create a white label event under your account, essentially you can provide, your business partner with that QR code, and if they have the equipment, they could run that event no matter where they're at, right? You don't have to have matching Apple ID email addresses. This is designed for your business, for a single business use only. It's not designed for people to try to cheat the system and try to split things in different ways, right? Because we have safety measures in place, and if we unfortunately see that, because we've seen it in the past, then your account will be shut down, and yeah, it just turns into a litigation type of procedure from that point on, right? Because we have access to some of the backend files and who's logging into what account, and if we see some unauthorized use and several different things, we're going to look into that and go into that, just kind of go into to protect our software. So, but for those people that are interested genuinely in what the white label subscription, it's a great deal, right? For right now, we have it at $1,200. Photo Booth Expo, we're looking at it'll probably go on sale for about $800 is what it typically goes for the entire year. And that will allow you to activate any device, as many devices as you have under your account. Okay, so that's the shop, right? I just wanted to go ahead and explain that. But once you log into TouchPix, you're going to live right here where it says create an event. Create an event, and it has two separate procedures that you can do. It'll have a create an event from a preset or create a custom event. I'm going to show you what the preset does. I don't like to use the preset. I'll explain why. And then I'll go into create a custom event. Create a custom event from a preset or event from a preset is basically a cheat code, in my opinion. It's for the people that are probably not well versed with TouchPix and just want to get up and go and do an event quickly without messing with a lot of the intricacies of the settings for your software, right? And it's going to ask you some questions. If you own a motorized spinner or a non-motorized spinner, and it's basically designed to get you up and going in 3 simple clicks, right? The reason why I don't like showing this method really is because it's kind of showing you how to do shortcuts. And in an industry where I think there's a lot of shortcuts being taken, I think you got to take the time and really learn the software to be able to provide the best output possible out there, right? And the other reason behind that is because you're already paying money for TouchPix. TouchPix is branding these videos with TouchPix logos and TouchPix music. Although you can change them, if you go back and change them, then it defeats the purpose out of using the preset method, because now you're going into like creating a custom event into the intricacies. So if you want to try it, if you're curious, go ahead and play with that. If that works for you, great. The way I want to teach this webinar is going into create a custom event. When you click create a custom event, all it is a huge form, right? From beginning to end. And that's what TouchPix typically is, right? We're going to tell TouchPix what you want to activate, how you want to activate it, and what features you want. And this is what we're going to do. From the beginning, the very top of the form, you're going to start with naming your event. I'm going to call this webinar, and I'm going to call this, I'm just going to date it 1/5/22, today's date. I know that that's my event today. I'm going to leave it in the English language, right? My country of origin is USA. If you do live outside the USA, please put your country of origin. If you don't put the right one, it may affect your text messaging settings, okay? So make sure if you're operating outside the US, it's fine. Just put your country. That way your text messages will work accordingly. As we scroll down, we're going to go into where it says countdown. Countdown right now, it's like any other photo booth software. For those of you who've been in photo booths before, when you step into a photo booth, you click start and give you a countdown before the actual pictures get taken. This is the same thing. It'll give you a countdown before the actual video is recording. So for me, I like small countdowns, and I'll leave my countdown at 2, right? You can extend your countdown if you need to, but just know that once you hit start or you press start on your remote, if you have a long countdown, then it's going to be spinning for extra sessions without it recording until it hits 0. So I put my countdown at 2. I'm going to go ahead and click this option that says beep sound. What it means, it's going to give you an auditory beep for every second. So in this case, it'll give you an auditory beep. You can leave it off or on. It doesn't hurt it. I do understand that once you guys are at live events or loud parties, you may or may not hear it, right? So I always leave it on. The next option is called mirror overlay preview. I'm going to go ahead and disable this. What this does is at the end, there's an artwork applied to your video, and it's going to look like the artwork is in, it looks like it's backwards, like it has a mirror effect. It only looks like that while you're recording it. The output will come out fine if it's enabled or disabled. I personally like to teach my webinar leaving it disabled because you don't need it on, right? And as I scroll down, you're going to go ahead and choose your camera, right? And a lot of people are going to be using either iPhones or GoPros. So for people that are using iPhones, the recommended iPhones that TouchPix recommends are iPhones 11, any model. Doesn't matter if it's the basic model, the Pro model, or Pro Max. It all works the same. 11, 12, or 13, they all work the same, right? Doesn't matter if it's the very basic Pro or Pro Max. Those are the phones that we recommend to actually do slow motion recording. Why don't we recommend it like an iPhone X or an XR, right? Well, they're simple. The X and the XR, although they're phenomenal phones, right? They don't have the ultra wide angle lens, and they don't have the image stabilization that is required. In addition to that, a lot of those phones don't record at a high frame rate. To do true slow motion, you need to record at a high frame rate of at least 120 frames per second. Those are the devices that we recommend: iPhone 11, 12, or 13 for video recording. Will it work with an iPhone 10? Absolutely. Will it work with an iPad? Absolutely. But it doesn't mean that you're going to be getting the best output that the software can offer. You need to have the right equipment to be able to do the right job, right? So that's why we recommend iPhone 11, 12, or 13. And we actually like to use the rear camera on those phones because, with the exception of the iPhone 13, iPhone 11 and 12, the rear camera is the best camera, right? The iPhone 13 has an identical camera on the front and on the rear, so you're good to go whichever way you decide to use that specific phone, right? If you're going to use a GoPro, the recommended GoPros that we recommend with TouchPix are GoPro 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10, but it has to be the black version. Why the black version? Well, the black version enables a high frame rate recording out of 120 frames per second. So that's why we recommend the absolutely best GoPro to be able to get this job done, right? In this case, if you're recording with an iPhone, you're going to click on rear camera to tell your phone that you're going to want to record with the best camera possible. If you're going to be recording with a GoPro, typically you will leave it off, but if you follow this webinar, I'm going to show you how to be prepared. Like I said, with GoPros, across platforms, across different softwares, everybody has somewhat of a similar way of connecting to the GoPro. Connection with the GoPro can be finicky at times, right? It works great with TouchPix, but it can be finicky at times. For example, in convention shows where there's a lot of radio frequencies flying out there, right? I know how to navigate through it. I know how to reset my camera and make it work. But in the event that this happens to you live, I'd like to show you how to pivot, and you can always put your iPhone there, making sure that you're not skipping a beat, right? So this is where testing comes into play. And this is where I would recommend that you guys always test your software and make sure you ask questions if you guys are running into any issues, right? but I will always show you kind of a preventative way to get out of a jam if you need to be, if you need to pivot to another device. So I'm always going to show you, always click on rear camera, because if you follow my settings, you're going to be ready to go, and you'll be able to end any event without having any hiccups, right? So I'm also going to click on camera exposure. What does camera exposure mean? It just means that if you don't have adequate lighting, you're going to see that a lot of 360 video users, right? A lot of 360 video users are buying external lightings, right? Setups. And they're buying external lighting setups because they want to be able to, you know, highlight and make their end video that more appealing, right? If you have great lighting, your video is going to look phenomenal. If you have crappy lighting, then your video more than likely is going to need some work. You're going to need some attention to that. But it all comes down to how you light your video, right? The exposure setting here will allow you, in the event that you just don't have the adequate lighting yet, you can go into your camera settings and play with your camera's exposure settings by increasing the ISO or increasing the exposure on your camera. That will actually help you out tremendously, right? Typically, a lot of people don't play with those settings, but if you're more on the pro level and you know how to navigate your way through that, that'll fine tune your settings, that'll fine tune your event, and you'll be at a different level, because by then your output's going to be, it's going to be looking really good. The QR app protection, you don't need this. This is designed for drop-off photo booths. Leave this disabled. What this does is, if I were to hit enable, anytime I would want to make a small change or go into the back end setting, it's going to ask me to scan the original QR code to have access to the back end, right? That's meant for drop-off units where you don't want people or your guests to get access to the back end of your settings. So for 360 booths, we leave it disabled, because those booths are typically, they have an attendant on site. Those are never left there for the operator to run by themselves. As I scroll down, you're going to go into this part that says printing. Because TouchPix is also a photo booth software, it does offer printing, but not for video, just for regular photo booths. So make sure if you're using it for 360 slow motion, you are hitting no printing. And I'm going into a couple of questions here real quick. It says, I'm new to TouchPix. Am I able to create my own backgrounds for events? Absolutely. We will get there towards the end of this webinar. Just hang in there. And the other question is, does a GoPro need an internet connection? So the GoPro, the way the GoPro connects, right? You do need an iOS device to control the GoPro, meaning you need either an iPhone, it can be an iPhone XR, or it can be an iPhone 11. You know, preferably we would love it to be an iPhone 11 and up, but you know, if you don't have one of those, it'll be fine with an iPhone XR, right? The way the GoPro is connected to TouchPix is it needs to be connected via Wi-Fi. So every other software, that's the same way the GoPro connects to the software. It connects off a Wi-Fi connection. People in this app, all you need is that Wi-Fi connection for that GoPro to be synced up with the same Wi-Fi connection from the iPhone or the iPad that you're operating. You know, that you can control the GoPro from the iPad as well, right? But just know this, because it takes the Wi-Fi connection away, that Wi-Fi connection is only a GoPro and iPhone or iPad connection. It doesn't give you the ability to also go online. The only way you can also go online is if you have a like a SIM card, like a cell SIM card, like a provider, or if you have an active phone line, then it'll also give you access online, because now you're using Wi-Fi and you're using your carrier cell phone service to be able to also go online, right? So the confusion with that is, people that are operating GoPros, we recommend you also get an additional iPad to use as an iPad sharing station. Even if you're an iPhone user, we recommend an iPad for an iPad sharing station. We want you guys to have the best experience possible. We want you guys to have the quickest workflow possible. So what we're trying to avoid is, for example, you have an iPhone that's controlling your GoPro, or maybe you have an iPhone that's recording your sessions, right? As soon as the people jump off the platform, they're going to want to share it amongst themselves, whether they share it via text, whether they share it via airdrop, whether they share it, whatever method that they choose, right? You don't want those people hovering over the recording device, holding up the line, and you won't be able to start your next session until they, clear that sharing portion of stuff. And, people who've done events know this. Typically, you'll get 2 or 3 people that are in the same shot trying to share it amongst each other. And it's going to take a long time. So we always recommend you buy a dedicated iPad just for a sharing station. And I'm going to show you how to sync them up here in this webinar as well. So hopefully that answers that question. So I scrolled down here. We were in the printing part. I'm going to click no printing, right? And now we're here where it says functions. Functions, as you can see, since it's a photo booth software, it'll give you the option to do photos, boomerangs, GIFs, and videos. But for the purposes of this tutorial, we're only focused on slow-mo, okay? We only wanted to do slow-mo recording. And if you look down here, it tells you how long you want the recording time to be, right? The recording time for slow-mo recording, it doesn't mean that your output is going to be 4.5 seconds. This just means that it's going to record for 4.5 seconds. The software is going to add its effect. It's going to add the slow-mo effect. It can actually add a speed up effect. It could add whatever effect you want. And at the end, it's going to be a prolonged video, right? Typically, a 4.5 second recording time will give you about a 16-second video, right? If you increase the time, I usually leave it at 5.5 seconds. It gives me about a 23-second video. Really depends. If you add an outro video promoting your company, then add another 8 seconds on top of that. So as far as how the length of your outro video. In this case, I'm just going to go with 5 seconds, right? I'm going to go ahead and increase it to 5. I'm going to add this slow-mo boomerang effect. What the slow-mo boomerang effect does is as soon as it processes the video will play back with its effects. At the very end, the slow-mo boomerang effect, it just means that the video will play back in reverse, right? It's just a boomerang playing. And this part of the video also, you can add audio. This is where you can add audio. This is one of the 2 spots you can add audio. You can either add it here from the web or you can add it from the actual device. Before I move forward, I also forgot to mention at the very beginning when you're creating your event, I'd recommend that you guys start the event from a desktop, right? This is a Windows desktop. You can use a desktop. You can use a MacBook if that's what you want to use. You can actually use a tablet if you want, but I don't recommend it if you're brand new, right? Just like everything else, tablets have different subdirectories, which means folders. And when you save files, they're saved in different directories. And in order for you to understand how to use TouchPix, we always recommend use any type of computer, whether it's Windows or Mac based. Don't use tablets or don't use Chromebooks because Chromebooks are not real computers, right? Once you get a laptop and start creating an event, I always recommend you guys start with making your folder on your desktop. As you can see here, I named this folder TouchPix Files, right? If you don't know how to create a folder on your desktop, it's very easy. If you have Windows, you just click anywhere on your desktop, right click, go down to New. You see where it says folder. It now creates a new folder and you can name it whatever it is that you want. I'm going to go ahead and delete it because I already have a folder called TouchPix. And in this TouchPix Files folder, I recommend everybody who is using something like this to drop in your logos. This is my logo right here, my TouchPix logo. This is my music track that I'm going to be using. And this is my overlay that I want to be using, my artwork, right? You could actually design it on TouchPix, and I'll show you how to do that. But if you pay somebody to design it, I usually use some designers, right? I think my go-to designer is a gentleman by the name of Keith Freeman. He does awesome work in designs or After Effects for video outros or just different type of effects. I've also used Matt Calvert. He's out of the UK. He also does phenomenal work. I've used Claymore Photo Booth Graphics, and I've used Michelle Brozier. Well, I don't think I've used her yet, but I've seen people use her, so I recommend her just because I've seen her work. But those are some people from our TouchPix group that you can go ahead and tap. And a lot of these people are pretty affordable. Some of them are more affordable than others. You pick whoever has the best design for you specifically. So, if you decide to go that route, the way it works is you're going to give them a dimension. They're going to design that artwork. They're going to email it to you. You're going to save it and you're going to drop it into this folder, right? So I'm going to go ahead and close that folder because we're here picking audio. So what you do when you're here is where it says choose audio file. I'm going to click on choose file. I'm going to open up my desktop and I'm going to look for that TouchPix folder. Once I point it the first time, it's always going to revert to that same folder. So I'm going to add this song called Latin Joint, and I'm going to hit open. Now it says Latin Joint, and we're going to proceed, right? We're not going to click on screen flash. This is a photo booth function. You do not need to click on that. Leave it blank. We're down here where it says timeouts, right? So for timeouts, this is the number of seconds that represents for editing, sharing, thank you screen, or to apply props. For editing, we're not interested in editing. This is not a photo booth session. Thank you screen, I'm going to put it at 0. The props section, where I'm going to put it at 0. The only thing you're going to leave at 12 is sharing. You're allowing people up to 12 seconds to input their phone number or their email. You could actually reduce it down to 6, but this needs to have a numerical value of 6 or over, okay? As we scroll down, this screen is your sharing screen here. So this is what's going to determine how you share your files. A lot of people use email, right? I'm not going to use Facebook. I'm going to use WhatsApp, as I find that there's a lot of people that travel internationally, and WhatsApp is beginning to be a very popular messaging app. SMS text, I'm also going to use SMS text, WhatsApp, email. I'm not going to use Twitter. I'm not going to use copy. And I'll explain to you what download is, airdrop, QR code, and general. So these are my preferred ways of sharing. Obviously, email is self-explanatory. They're going to be sharing the file themselves via email address. This is great if you're doing corporate events, right? And you want to be able to collect that data. You want to be able to supply that corporate client email addresses of all its guests. That way they can market to them if that's what they want to do, right? That's a great way of doing it. WhatsApp and SMS is basically a text messaging keypad that'll pop up. If you choose to share it via WhatsApp or SMS, you'll see a text messaging keypad pop up. You punch in the number with the area code first, and away it goes. Download. Because this app is iOS based, when we send any of these messages via text message or email, they're not actually getting the actual video file being texted to their phone. What they're getting is a hyperlink. It's a hyperlink to their video file. And if an iPhone user clicks on that hyperlink, automatically by default, that hyperlink, unless you have your iPhone set up a little differently, by default, your iPhone will open up Safari. Well, if you don't have this download button checked off and you click on that hyperlink, you're not going to find an easy way to download that video, right? What this download box does is for people that download it, they receive it via text, right? It allows them now to have a download button on their device on the Safari web browser, right? It's a Safari, it's an Apple thing, but if you click on this, you'll guarantee everybody will be able to download it from their device. AirDrop is probably the preferred way of sharing. It's extremely quick, it's extremely fast. However, there's a lot of people that still don't know how to operate their own cell phones. So my frustrations with AirDrop solely have to do with people not naming their phones, right? You're going to see a lot of phones pop up on AirDrop that's just say iPhone, and you don't want to send it to the wrong person. So it becomes a little bit of a of a hassle at times, but it's the preferred way of sharing because it's extremely quick and it's, it just gets the job done really fast. For the Android users, we recommend QR code, right? If you click the QR code button as a method of sharing, you're going to see a QR code pop up and you will have access to only that specific file. So you will get that QR code sharing. And I'll give you guys an example, hopefully, of a session that I could do here where that pops up. And general is something new that we just added. The developer just added general. General is just a general sharing tab. Will now will let you share with iMessage. It will let you share with different other platforms. If you want to share it through Messenger, you can share it through Messenger. You can share it through any other platform now. So general is a good option to have. In the event that maybe something's not working correctly, maybe the Wi-Fi signal at that venue is low, and it's not, the hyperlinks are not coming in as quickly, or the QR code is not coming in as quickly. So we give you different options to be able to share and get it done, right? As we go through this, we're going to leave the edit screen button off, and we're going to leave the in-app gallery. This is very important. Leave it checked on. This is what's going to control your sharing, and this is what's going to control your sharing station as well. I'm going to revert back because I do see some questions coming in. And by all means, if you guys have questions and I'm overlooking something that you guys want to know, unmute yourselves and ask away. We have a small enough group today. We have about 33 heads on this call, and I definitely value your time and want you guys to learn what you guys want to learn. Okay, so is the internet connection required in general so you can use TouchPix? Sorry, I'm still new to this. So is internet connection required? It is not required to run the internet at any event. We do recommend that if you are going to activate an event, you activate that from home first, right? You activate that event from home, and you can go to any venue without internet, with zero internet, and you'll be able to run an event, right? However, the sharing portion may be a struggle, right? You can only share via AirDrop with no internet, or if you're one of our advanced users, we have an app called ScanPix. It requires a router. It's free. It's built into the app. It's built into ScanPix, to TouchPix, I'm sorry. And the way that works is it allows users to log into that router, scan one QR code to log in, scans a second QR code to have access to the gallery of that specific file that you want. So it's extremely effective. It's absolutely free. We don't charge any money for it. It's just, you're basically picking what is easiest for you and for your workflow. So we offer so many different ways of getting that file across. You definitely have to just try and see what works best for you. I'm a ScanPix user. I use it at every event. I do events out in the boondocks where I have zero cell phone coverage, no venue Wi-Fi is available. So ScanPix for me is the way to go because I know I can get the job done at any spot. The other question that was on the chat is, how do we save and retrieve the contact information we obtain from different events when sharing the contact? Okay, retrieve contact. Okay, so maybe if you can, if you're on the call, give me a little bit more on that question. I think I understand it, but I want to make sure. I want to make sure I'm going to answer it correctly. So, Jonathan, if you're on the call, can you give me a quick example? I could hear you very low.
Turn this microphone up. Hold on.
Okay.
What about now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you a little bit better.
Okay, so my question is, I work at different nightclubs around the city in Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay.
And my agreement or arrangement with some of these club owners is, instead of them paying me hourly, they want me to come in, do my thing with the photo booth, and charge the customers per spin in exchange for a barter to sell them the contact information for marketing purposes, for the club and promotions. So how do I create a contact list or a database of contact information of, not only for the club owners and promoters, but for myself to market and promote my business back to the customers that have jumped on the photo booth, paid per spin, and you know, we market and promote back to them over time. How do we obtain those text message numbers and those email addresses? What are the
Yeah, so I'll definitely show you that towards the end of the video, but there is a way, right? When somebody inputs an email address or somebody inputs a phone number, you can actually, when you close out your event, there's a place in our dashboard under your event name that's called a CSV file. It's an Excel spreadsheet that tells you that phone number, what video that was associated with, right? And that's what you're going to give your client, right? You're going to give them that spreadsheet with all the numbers, right?
That's exactly what I'm looking for.
Okay.
That's what
And I'll show you that as I go through my video. Okay.
Oh, thank you. And also, I definitely need help learning how to do overlays because I don't know nothing about it.
Okay. Sounds good, man. So
DJ.
yeah, go ahead.
As far as the QR codes on the TV screen, the external session, have we been having issues with that, or because sometimes they show up and sometimes they don't?
Yeah, no, I haven't heard any issues related to that. The issue related to that typically is when you're running a TV with a QR code, right? You do need a internet connection for that, right? Because that QR code is generated typically as grabbing the file from our cloud service. So it just really depends on internet speed at that time. So if you have great internet, you're going to see that the QR codes are going to show up rapidly. But if your internet's a little sluggish or it's throttling, depending on the provider that you use, then they're going to come in a little sluggish at times.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Also, the audio via iPhone is not working. Okay, so I'll show you some examples of that. And okay, so let me finish off this this part. Jonathan, did you have another question?
I do actually.
Go ahead.
So I'm learning about TouchPix through the vendor that sold me my 360 booth with this Revo Spin 360.
Okay.
They also have their own photo booth software, and I don't even know which one to download to use because they have their own software, but they also recommended me to use yours. So y'all both do the same thing. So I'm trying to figure out which one to go through and which one to use, and I don't know.
Yeah, man. So look, I have no experience in their software whatsoever. From what I understand, they've just recently launched something, right? What I would say, like any, and I work for TouchPix, but I'm going to be 100 transparent with you, right? Is try them both, man. Try them both and see what works best for you. I'm going to go ahead and drop an email. If you want a TouchPix free trial, we'll give you a free week. That way you can try it fully and see for yourself, right? We like to prove a lot of people in the industry wrong, in the sense of, like, we want you guys to be able to try it, see how easy it is for you, and if you're comfortable, great. And if you're not comfortable, give us some feedback on what you're struggling with, and maybe we'll make some adjustments. But we are the #1 360 iOS app in the market, and we've been at that level for quite some time, even at the beginning of COVID, but we're proud of what we created here, and I think they referred you to us for a reason. Like I said, I don't know too much about their app, but give them a shot and see what we can do.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go with you all anyway because I have my first official full run this weekend on Saturday and Sunday. So since you're a human being, show me how to do it live right now. I'm gonna go ahead.
And I think that's what separates us with a lot of people, right? We do, like I said, we have 7-day support. If you call us within 10 a.m., 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, you're going to get a call back. Even if you don't get us immediately on the phone, we do have a call log. If you don't get us immediately, that just means we're tied up with another client. But we will get back to you in that order that it was coming in. So we'll figure it out, man. But definitely.
Hopefully by the end. Oh, also, can you please email me a link to this video recording so everything that you teach me tonight, I can go back and.
For sure. Just I'll give you my email. I'll put it up in the chat bar. Let me just finish off this segment. And feel free, anybody on this call, feel free to shoot me an email if you guys need anything, and we'll go from there. So my email is up in the chat now. It's dj1@touchpix.com. Pretty simple. Okay, so we were here with the timeouts, right? We left everything at 0. We were down to the sharing part. I explained what the sharing does. With the in-app gallery, I explained how important that is to leave it on. So we're here now where you're branding your specific event, right? This is just a text branding as far as what you want your client to see when they're receiving an email or what you want them to see when they're receiving a text message, right? Typically, just follow the parameters, make sure that we've been having some bad luck with Twilio, and they red flag a lot of our messages, specifically that busy, one of the busy weekends for Christmas, right? One of the biggest holiday events. They were red flagging a lot of our messages because it included people's phone numbers, it included people's URL for their business, right? We sent out over 20,000 text messages on a Saturday, or the software did, and of course that triggers red flags. And you know, everybody got their message. Some of them got a little delayed based on that red flag, but you know, it's just something that we're learning and we're always trying to improve upon as far as that goes. But this is where you kind of brand your specific brand, and you want to be able to convey to your client how this is how they get a hold of you. I typically keep these very consistent. So all these 4 boxes, I have them say the same thing. I won't put like www dot, but I will say, thank you for using the xyzphotobooth.com, right? As far as phone numbers, I won't put any of the special characters. I won't use ats. I won't use pound signs, but I'll put the number itself without any dashes, right? And that seems to work great for me. You want to keep these consistent, and you want to keep them the same. That way, when you're setting up events, it's quicker for you to go through this process, right? As I scroll down, we're not worried about props. And we're going to come down here where it says branding. This is where you're going to brand your stuff. I'm not going to show you the Apple TV today. Like I explained today, I am quarantining. So, you know, unfortunately, I'm recovering from COVID, and I'm stuck in my little travel trailer while my family's enjoying the full house to themselves, because they weren't COVID positive like I was. But anyhow, typically I show the Apple TV portion, and for those of you that are missing it, I'm going to go ahead and post a YouTube video of that if you need to see the Apple TV integration to it, right? I will have last week's webinar, which I'm a little delayed in posting, but it will go up today, you know, on YouTube. So here on app name, you're going to want to, again, you can put your business name, right? You can put XYZ Photo Booth. I'm just pretending that's my business name, right? This name here really doesn't really mean much. It's just letting you know that this is what the event is called. So these 3 areas are pretty important, right? Your app logo, your app background, and your web background. Your app logo represents whatever file you load here. It represents the logo that's going to be attached to your sharing station, right? And it's also going to represent the logo that's attached to your Apple TV if you choose to use one. You don't need an Apple TV, but if you enable that feature, whatever file you put here will it'll bounce over to your Apple TV. The app background is the file that's going to be on your phone itself, right, or your iPad. This is what's going to have the TouchPix controls right in front of it. It's more of a branding type of file, right? This is where you can brand, you know, your logo, your business logo, or if you're doing a corporate party, you can put a corporate logo there. You know, this is more visible. The web gallery background, whatever logo you upload here, is what they're going to have. You know, when you give a client their web gallery, typically there's a logo right behind that web gallery, and that's what's going to represent, you know, how professional your business looks. So whatever file you put in here, it'll be on the online web gallery. I keep all these files the same. So as you notice now, if I click on choose file, if you notice, check this out. Right away, it goes into my TouchPix files folder because I had already selected it one time, right? I'm going to go ahead and change the view here. And I'm selecting this TouchPix logo. And as I'm hovering over the logo, you can see that this logo here is a PNG file. Well, a PNG file is a transparent file. A JPEG file, JPEG, is a non-transparent file. So if this was a JPEG, more than likely, my background would be a solid white or whatever color that JPEG was saved under. A PNG file just means it's your actual logo without a background in the back. It's just a hovering file, transparent, right? You're looking at the file size there. It's 2100 by 1500. That's a good size if you guys want to use those as a as a precursor to how to appropriately size your files. You can use that, and it's a small size, right? It's 314 KB in size. If you look at the parameters over here to my right, it's telling me that the app logo only takes JPEGs and PNGs, nothing bigger than 4 megabytes. Same thing for app backgrounds, except app backgrounds actually adds, you can add an MP4 video if you want to add something there. This is more an advanced setting. Recommended when you're starting, just use JPEGs or PNGs, and it takes a bigger file size. Same thing for web gallery, right? JPEG, PNG, keep it all pretty uniform. It'll make your life a lot easier. So I'm going to select this TouchPix logo, hit open. For the app background, I'm also going to select the TouchPix logo, hit open. And for the web gallery background, I'm also going to select the TouchPix logo and hit open. And you see it loaded on all 3 devices. You also have this here on the side. I'm not going to use it. However, I'm going to explain what it is. This is the attract screen. The attract screen here just means that it's to attract people over. You're going to do events sometimes where you're at a wedding, and during the wedding, sometimes there's pauses such as toast, such as cake cutting, where your stuff is not going to be used. So what some people do is that they create like a attract video, something that attracts attention, whether it be an animation of lights or animation of the bride and groom doing some type of an animated effect, right? That's going to attract people to like, hey, what's that over there? Okay. And they'll be looking at your photo booth. It just attracts attention. If you load up one of those files there, when your booth sits at idle, that attract screen kicks on. The way that turns off is you simply tap the screen and it goes back to its normal settings, right? It's just to attract people. I'm not going to use this. It is optional. If you guys want to use it, go ahead and use it, but that's what it does. Down here where it says text and button color, for example, I'm going to click on this again, show you my logo. My logo is a transparent logo, but if it was a JPEG, you would see that there's a white background associated to that logo. So the text and button color, if indeed it was a white background, I don't want my text or button colors to be the exact same color as my logo, because you won't be able to see the text or the buttons, right? They're going to camouflage each other. So in this case, if I wanted to change the button colors or the text, I would click on this square here and click whatever color on the color palette you want your buttons and your text to be, and it'll revert to that color. I'm going to leave it in white because I know my stuff was set properly. Okay. And we're almost here at the bottom, and we're here where it says motion trigger. If you leave motion trigger, I'm going to explain what it does. If you're using an iPhone and you leave motion trigger on, what this does is that iPhone has built-in GPS. So as soon as you hit start on your remote, right? If you hit start on your remote, the software will detect that that iPhone's being moved. So it'll start the session. It'll start on motion trigger. That's what that means, right? A lot of people don't use it. A lot of people use it. It's completely optional. I'm just going to deselect it. Try it out at home if that's something that you want to try, and go from there. I'm going to go into the external screen section, although I'm not going to show it today because I'm not in a room where I have an Apple TV available. If you have an Apple TV, you're definitely going to want to enable external session. This is where you can make more money, right? If you're taking an Apple TV, and just to explain, an Apple TV is not an actual special TV. It's the Apple TV box that's similar to your Google Chromecast or your Amazon Fire Stick. It just plugs into any TV via HDMI, right? If you have an Apple TV box, we recommend generation 4 or above, right? What this does, this is a way for you to generate more money. If you're using an iPhone, what it's gonna do, it's gonna mirror the screen recording. People will actually be able to see themselves being recorded. And as soon as it's done recording, it'll do a video playback with some effects. And it actually looks very cool on the big TV, right? But if you're taking a TV out to your event, no matter if it's a small 24-inch to a big 50-inch to a projector that you're going to try to project it onto a wall, this is an easy $200 or $300 add-on, right? Depending on what you're taking. You can probably get a little bit more money if you're doing more corporate level stuff and you're taking a projector and you're showing out, you know, how professional it looks. It just makes you look that much more professional, and the output's phenomenal, creates buzz, creates attention. People are pointing at your TV, they're pointing at your setup because, you know, it creates that attraction. So that's pretty cool in the sense that it also, once they're able to see their video playing back, they see a QR code right underneath their video on the TV. So now they don't even have to go to the sharing station to share it. They can just scan the QR code straight from the TV and the video's on their phone. Boom, it's super quick, super effective, right? You can do it this way. The only negative thing with the Apple TV, I wouldn't say it's a negative, it's more of a con in the sense that it works great for the iPhones. For the GoPros, unfortunately, GoPro does not support live view recording. So if you're going to be using the Apple TV for your GoPro, we recommend that you come down to this here and set it to slideshow, and it'll do a video slideshow of all the videos you have going on from that event, right? So GoPro just doesn't do live view recording, but you can still do a video slideshow and still create the same buzz, right? I'm gonna leave this portion off because I don't have a Apple TV with me now, but I'm gonna go ahead and click submit, right? And once I click submit, that means I'm done creating this event. Sorry it took as long as it took, but these are the intricacies. It shouldn't take you this long. Once you get the hang out of this form, it's going to take you 3-4 minutes tops in creating your event, right? I think now I'm down to like a minute because I've just done so many of them quickly, right? So right when you're here, you're going to be ready to scan your QR code, but we're not going to do that yet. We're going to design that artwork that we're going to show you how to do. We're going to click on this green tab that's called the designer. TouchPix gives you a very basic way of designing your artwork, right? And I will show you some of the key elements, and I'll also show you how to import a design that was pre-designed already, right? So this is the designer. First thing and foremost, you're going to go over here to your left and click under templates. Make sure that it stays on their slow-mo overlays, because it also has overlays for photo booths, right? And you want to make sure that it stays on slow-mo overlays. And now once you're on slow-mo overlays, you have 5 templates, right? Template 1 is more vertical oriented, meaning that it's a vertical style template. If you're using an iPhone, I'd recommend you put your iPhone vertically with the camera on top versus sideways with the camera on the side, right? This will catch, depending on your setup, it's easier to catch more of the full body shot if you have your camera angle tilted correctly. This is pretty popular lately for reels and stuff of that nature. The most popular one though is overlay 2. If I click on overlay 2, it's a template that's squared. It's more Instagram friendly, right? The measurements on this, they're 1072 by 1072. I'll show you where the measurements are for every template in case you want somebody else to design artwork for you. If you look at overlay 3, it has more of a wide angle lens. Overlay 3, you'll see more of the wide angle. Overlay 4 is like a normal TV, almost 1080, almost 1920 by 1080 almost, right? It's extreme wide angle. And overlay 5 is more of a cropped out version of the overlay 1, right? Where it's just strictly vertical. For the purposes of this tutorial, we're going to work with overlay 2. I'm going to click on overlay 2. You see the silhouette bounce over here to the right, right? Right when it bounces onto the right, now you can click on stickers to your left. All of these stickers are considered PNG files, right? They're transparent. That means they don't have a background. So, you know, it really depends because there's really tons of stickers that you can pick. There's tons of borders. There's tons of clip art that you can use. For example, let me see if I can use something pretty basic here. Let me see. You know, there's the list goes on for quite some time. Let's go with some line shapes here. And maybe I want to do something simple. No, actually, let's go with let's just go with this here, this flower. Let's go with some leaves or flowers. So say I'm going to click this flower, right? I clicked on it. Right when I clicked on it, it bounces onto my screen automatically. You can drag it at this point wherever you want. If you stretch out the corners, you can make it larger. If you click on the middle and twist it, you can actually re-angle it, right? So depending on where you want it, say I want it that size and I want it on the lower end here. If I don't want the green color, you can play with the sliders up here. It'll change the color, saturation, right? Into something that you want to, you know, something that you want, something more your style. Say that's something that I want to do, and maybe I want to create a border of this, right? If I want to create a border of this, I go up here and click this copy sign, and now it gives me the exact same duplicate of that, and I start creating a border, right? Right. And I'm not a big graphic designer, but I'm just kind of giving you the elements on how to do this. I usually pay somebody for my graphics. In this case, I'm going to delete that, right? But I was just showing you. And when you delete it, you just click on it and click delete on your keyboard. Now what I want to show you is actually how to add text. To your left, there's a place here that's called text, right? You click on large text and the text bounces onto your screen. Same thing, you can stretch it out, right? Maybe I want my text larger. To your left, there's a numerical value for your font size. If you click the up arrow, you see the font getting larger, right? Right. Right above that, there's a drop-down menu for your fonts, so you can pick different fonts, right? And we're going to use something pretty simple here. Let's go with that. Maybe I want to switch my font color to something other than black. Maybe I want like I don't know, let's try this color here. Hit accept. And you see how my font just switched colors? I'm going to click on the text itself. I'm going to double click on it and you see the cursor start blinking. So now you can type in whatever it is that you want to write. Happy birthday, right? And you can, right when if you want to center it, you can drag it wherever it is that you want. You know, I use this little feature up here a lot called enable grid, and it helps you center your stuff, right? Because it gives you the grid. It gives you the grid there, and you can just disable it. And once you're ready to go, say that's what you want to do, you can add your template. Before you add your template, though, I'm going to show you how to do a custom overlay if you decide to buy one online or buy it off a designer, right? So I'm going to delete it real quick. Happy birthday, it's gone. What I'm going to do now is go up here where it says uploads, right? If you go to uploads and you go over to where it says custom overlay, if you hover over the question mark, right below the question mark, it's going to give you the sizes to all the templates. I'm using template 2, so the size is 1072 by 1072. If you're going to use another template and you're going to hire a designer, this is the size that they're going to ask you for. How big is your canvas? In my case, it's 1072 by 1072 pixels. That's what PX stands for, okay? So if I'm going to load a custom overlay, I'm going to click browse. I paid somebody to do this, right? I think this is something that I downloaded off the site, right? So I'm going to click on this overlay here that somebody designed. I'm going to click open. Once it's there, it's going to pop right here on your lower left-hand side. To get it over to your silhouette, you're going to click on it, right? So this is the design, right? It's probably not the best design because I'm leaving off, all of this is covered, right? But gives you an idea of what that looks like, right? If you wanted to use something that was preloaded, you can go ahead and do that, right? If you still want to add things to this overlay, like your logo, you can click on custom sticker on your left-hand side, click browse, right? And I'm going to use my logo or the TouchPix logo as my branding sticker and click open. For the sticker, it doesn't pop up at the bottom, but it pops up at the very top of the list. This is where it pops up. This is the sticker area. I'm going to click on it, and you see the TouchPix sticker just popped up. You can actually resize it and put it wherever it is on the template you want it to be, right? That's how you brand your specific overlays, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and delete this, and I'm actually going to delete, the other one that I had just loaded. I like the text. I'm just going to do a clean text overlay, right? That way you guys can get the full effect on how it's going to look. So let's go. I'm just going to do the text, and I'm going to add my sticker. I am going to change the font, and now I'm going to use red. Double click. I'm going to type in TouchPix webinar. Right? I'm going to leave it there, and I'm just going to add my logo up top. That's going to be my overlay. Sometimes for video, less is better than a lot of like design. But like I said, I'm not a designer, so you might want to hire somebody for your designs. Let's see, custom overlay. Okay, I'm not using that.
Can you also use the background texture? Show us how that works.
Yeah, so the background texture is really not for this. The background texture is for your photo booth designs only. The reason behind that is because your photo booth designs, it doesn't cover the whole surface area like a video does, right? So you can use the background textures on those. Let's see here. There it is. I'm just gonna leave that TouchPix logo up here, right? And once I'm gonna add it, I'm gonna hit add template. Pay attention to where you're adding it. In this case, this is the webinar for today, right? Make sure you're adding it to the right event, because if you add it to the wrong event, it may not come up, right? So then click add template. It's gonna turn green and it says template added, and we are done, right? So we're gonna go over to events. And from events, for the gentleman who asked me earlier how to track the data, right? The gentleman that was asking how to track the data, the email addresses and the text messages, this is where you're gonna get it. Well, maybe I'll show you that towards the end. But this is the part here where it says data. You'll be able to click on here to get access to your data. But for right now, I'm gonna click on QR code, right? This is the QR code. I'm gonna minimize this screen, and I'm gonna go over to my iPhone now, right? Let me see here. All right, so now from my iPhone, I'm gonna click on TouchPix, and then I'm gonna click on activate event, right? And it's gonna give you three choices. Do I wanna activate this event as a test, sharing station, or activate? If you are on a paying subscription, then just go ahead and hit activate, right? Or if you just want to test it real quick, you can go ahead and click test, but it'll be watermarked, right? I'm going to click activate. It's asking me for permissions to my camera, right? I'm going to click OK. And now it wants to scan my QR code. And you see how it says event recognized. So now that's basically it, right? I scanned the QR code from the computer on my phone. So now you're looking at my phone. I just scanned that QR code. It's loading all the settings. You're giving it permissions. So now I'm on my phone. You're going to give it permissions for your camera roll. Everything's good. There you go. There's my logo, right? If I turn it landscape, it looks better. If I turn it portrait, that's where we're at. So now That's where I'm at right now. First and foremost, I want you to click on this hamburger icon here. It's the settings. Click on the menu. You're going to want to go into settings, the very first option, right? Basically, when you scan the QR code, you transfer all the online settings onto your device this way. But if you install TouchPix for the first time, pay attention to settings. Down here where it says compress, it's on medium quality. You want to switch it over to ultra high quality, okay? So I'm going to switch it over to ultra high quality. Perfect. I'm going to click on this right arrow right here until I reach camera, right? First and foremost, if you're using a GoPro, pay attention, okay? But if you're not, also pay attention. I think I'm going to explain this part good before you. Don't switch it back. Don't switch it onto your GoPro yet if you're using a GoPro. You're going to want to scroll down to where it says slow-mo speed. And you only do this the first time. You will only have to do this again if you delete the app and reinstall it. So the slow-mo speed, you need to adjust it to 1920 by 1080 at 120 frames per second. You're going to have two options. Always pick the first one and click done. It's now going to give you a warning. Well, it's going to give you a warning after you click on lens type, right? The lens type on my phone, because I have a iPhone 12, I'm going to go to ultra wide and click done. It's now going to give you a warning, right? It's just telling you that you switched over to a setting and you got to set your slow-mo speed correctly, which we already did. So hit understood. If you see your settings at 1920, 1080, 120 frames per second, and your ultra wide set here, you've done it correctly. From this point on, if you scroll up and you do have a GoPro, go ahead and toggle on for your GoPro to connect to your GoPro, right? The reason I show you this way is because if your GoPro ever goes down for whatever reason, all you have to do to pivot over to your iPhone is come over to your iPhone, go into camera and select back camera, and boom, you're ready to go. Typically, if this happens at an event and people are anxious, they're going to forget to set their slow-mo speed. They're going to forget to set their lens because they're just, you got some anxiety going through you because you lost your GoPro connection for whatever reason, or your GoPro battery died, or you forgot something, right? So this will enable you to pivot quickly. After that, we're going to hit the arrow again here to the side, and this is the bread and butter of TouchPix right here. I think a lot of people have a lot of curiosity on how this section works, right? So for the people that I said, you know how I indicated that there's two ways of loading the audio file. You see the audio file is already loaded in here. This was already loaded through my QR code. But say you forget to load a audio file, you can actually load it from your phone. As long as it's an MP3, you can load it. I'm going to click on audio here right now, and I'm going to click delete, and that audio is going to go away, right? The audio went away. Now I'm going to load the audio file through my phone. The way you load the audio file through your phone is you click here, add effect, and I'm going to go to audio, right? Well, I'm curious to see if this got fixed in this latest release. I'm going to go to a place called music, right? TouchPix gives you free copyright royalty-free music. If you go to here where it says music, you're going to click done. And in order to use this effect, we need to download files, click OK. And these are the free files that TouchPix is giving you for you to use. They're not labeled, but you can actually pick any of these if that's what you want to do, right? Any of these files you can pick, and they're free music in the event that you didn't have time to download something, or maybe you have a corrupt audio file. So you can use anything from 1 through, I think, 10 or 13, 14. Okay, so that's one way of loading music. I'm going to go ahead and delete this method. Say I already have an MP3 song on my phone. This is how you load it. You go to add effect again, and you're going to go to audio. Click done. Now I'm going to click on audio. You're going to click on this here now, right? And it's telling me now, where is this file? I need to choose it. It's stored in my phone. So I'm going to click choose file. And this is the stuff that I have on my phone. And I'm going to use this track right here called Sun and Rainbow. And that's how you load a music track from your phone, right? So as a pro tip, some people ask me, hey, DJ, how can I switch songs? Why is it the same old lame song throughout the 3-hour event? Well, one, we always like to give you the easiest option. But two, always use these pro tips as a way to make extra money. If people want added music, the way I would do my events is, okay, if you hire me for a 3-hour event, right, and you want 3 music tracks, I'm going to charge you maybe X amount of dollars more, right? But the way I will do it is for hour number 1, I will use one song. Hour number 2, then I would come in here and switch it to a different song. And hour number 3, I'll do a different song. That's the way I would do it. I wouldn't give people options because then you're going to run into headaches of people wanting different songs. Okay. So the other cool thing is that I want you guys to pay attention to is this right here. This is called a post-roll video. This is, if you see a lot of videos out there where the 360 effect is already applied, right? And then you see a person branding their business with a little promo video. Well, this is what that promo video gets inserted, right? First of all, you're going to have somebody custom design that for you. Like I said, I usually go through Matt Calvert or Keith Freeman. Keith Freeman is my go-to guy for this, right? He actually made the one I'm about to show you. And you can definitely reach out to these guys in the group, and they'll definitely work something out with you. But this is how you load it. I'm going to click on post roll. These files need to be the same size as the template that you're using. I'm going to click on files now. And the file that I'm looking for is called, what is it called actually? It's in the wrong location. First of all, I'm going to hit browse. I have mine in my Dropbox folder. And from my Dropbox folder, give me one quick second here. I'm navigating. Okay, so for my Dropbox folder, I have this folder here that has most of my files. I'm looking for a file called Rose. That's the one Mr. Freeman designed for me. Here it is, Rose logo. I just selected it. Once you select it, this turns into a delete post roll. That means it's in there, it's good to go. Now I'm going to add 2 more effects, right? I'm going to add something pretty cool. I'm going to add this snapshot effect, which makes it look like, let me see. For those that want to control your slow-mo timing of where your slow-mo gets inserted, you can actually pick this as an effect. Slow-mo timing, you can tell the software where you want the slow-mo to begin and where you want it to end, right? I'm not going to use it, but that's where it's at. If you want the software to speed up at a certain part of your video to make it go faster, you can go and use speed up, right? I'm going to use snapshot. Once I hit snapshot, as you can see here, I'm going to click on snapshot right here, right? And it gives you a timeline. This is telling you where you want to insert that effect. I want to insert it towards the end, so I'm going to move it from 0.6 to 0.7, a really brief location. The snapshot just makes it look like they're taking still shots. That's all it is. And then I'm going to add one more effect. It's a brand new effect, and I recommend, I actually highly recommend it. It's called Overlay Alpha. Not that many people know how to do these. Again, Keith Freeman, Matt Calvert, Clay Moore with Photo Booth Graphics are big on this. This uses a alpha transparency. It's an animated overlay. It's an actually overlay with movement. So once I click Overlay Alpha, I'm going to click on Overlay Alpha here. I'm going to choose that file. Let me see if I have anything saved under that. Let's try that. It loaded that file, and now I'm going to go back. And forgive me, like I said, I'm quarantined out of my RV right now, so I'm gonna do a brief demo of what that's gonna look like, okay? Let's see. All right, here we go. Here we go, it's recording, it's recording, it's recording. Here we go. Yeah, typically I'm doing my stuff out of my man cave and I'm locked out for at least another week or so. So now it's processing the video, it's blending the video, and it's adding the overlay. It's gonna add the music file and it's gonna be done. So it's doing the outro now, doing the audio file, and you'll see the video playback. Hopefully it doesn't freeze on me. Usually it does it while I'm screen mirroring. But you guys can't hear the music, but it's all there. And I'll play it from the web, that way you guys can see it better. And it just froze. The screen mirror just froze. All right, let me reconnect it. You guys have any questions thus far? Let me connect it back to the TV here.
Yes, for that particular overlay, what type of file do you have to use?
Yeah, that overlay is actually an MOV file, right? But you got to explain to your designer that that overlay is an animated overlay with the alpha transparency on the alpha channel. It has alpha channel
Okay.
transparency.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, DJ, what's the difference between the alpha overlay and the overlay black?
Yeah, so it's a major difference, right? So overlay black it's the initial way that TouchPix used to use overlay files, right? Overlay black works. The thing with overlay black, it just takes, it's a tremendous amount of processing time that it takes. With the alpha channel overlay, if I were to take that that overlay off of my, let me just show you this real quick because I want to do it live. Let me see.
And DJ asked that question because I've seen, I guess, Martin, when he's used the overlays with like the floating sparkles, what have you. I think he's always talked about using overlay black. And can you still use that same thing for overlay alpha? Or is it totally different?
Well, no. Overlay black, the sparkles keep using overlay black. Keep using, because those were designed for overlay black, right? Overlay alpha is somewhat of a newer feature. He figured out how to make the alpha channel transparency work just like any other, I guess, video animation overlay out in the industry. And this literally it cuts the processing time by at least 75%. So it's that much quicker. And it's more powerful because the actual graphics they're a lot crisper using this specific overlay, the alpha channel, right? The overlay black works great for the overlay.
Is it
Go
green
ahead.
screen, essentially?
What's that?
Is it essentially green screen? Is it green
No,
screen?
it works different than green screen because TouchPix also has a green screen feature. I'm going to go ahead and take that overlay off. That way you guys can see it one more time. This overlay here took a little while. The overlay alpha is even faster than loading this stationary artwork. So it's a lot faster than that, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into my event and I'm going to go ahead and hit edit. Well, I needed to go to the designer. So under designer, I'm going to just click template 2, and I'm just going to upload a blank template, right? And I'm going to see if I can do this again. Let me toggle over to a different screen here. It's connecting now. All right, here we go. Here we go. So let's go back into TouchPix real quick here. We're gonna go back into TouchPix. And what I'm gonna do, because I just deleted my overlay from the web, I'm gonna refresh my event, right? I'm refreshing my event. That means everything's auto updating. And now I'm gonna go back into settings just to make sure everything is where it needs to be. And the video effects, I'm gonna delete well, I'll leave that song on there. I'm gonna go ahead and go to add effect, and I'm gonna do the alpha one more time. Overlay alpha. I'm gonna choose the file. And let's roll with that. Okay, I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna do another quick little sample here, and then I'll show you the actual playback from the computer. So 2, 1, here we go. Just showing you real quick. Okay, here we go. So it's adding slow-mo. I didn't add my outro video, but it's fine. So you see, it's that much quicker because it's already done. Adding audio, there it is. And you see, you get the animated overlay there.
What I'm confused about is that you get that effect, and then you look for it on your phone. I don't understand that part.
Yeah, well, okay. So that effect was custom made for me, right? So
Okay.
I'm saying you're paying somebody to make that effect for you. So
Well, why do you have to go and click on that effect?
Because it's something that you're manually loading from your actual device. You're not loading it from the computer. This is a custom effect, right?
Okay.
This is called the overlay alpha effect. Any of your special effects, even if you buy the confetti pack, you load them practically the same way. You load them from your phone. They need to be physically on that device, right, to be able to load. If you have all your accounts tied into your iCloud, that's a good way of making sure that everything's stored in that same location, right? That way you can point it to that file right away, right? But that effect needs to be loaded on from your actual device. That's what controls it, right?
Okay.
So I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys a video playback of how it looks. Let me see if you guys are able to see that. So now let's go over to my account. Can't see that. Events. So you guys will be able to see, if I click on gallery, I should have 2 videos in gallery, or actually 1 because I hit discard on the other one. So from here, if I click play, you'll be able to see it a little bit better.
Okay. So the other day, I actually tested this out and everything went fine. I loved what I did. The next day, I went to the gallery to try to play it again so I can look at it again. The video wasn't there. Did I do something wrong, or is that because I still haven't subscribed yet?
So you did a test, right? Was it on
Yep.
an actual? Was it on an actual?
Yeah.
The only thing, there's 2 reasons why it's not going to load on your main gallery. Reason number 1, which I just did on the first video, is hit discard. If I hit discard, it's not going to load on your main gallery. Reason number 2 why it won't load on your main gallery is because your Wi-Fi connection was limited. Other than that,
actually, everything worked. Everything worked. I mean, I actually had 2 iPads and I saw them on both iPads. I saw it on my phone. I mean, everything was there and everything was working fine. I'm thinking I didn't save something because the next day I went back to look at that video. Everything else was there except for the video.
Yeah, so you might want to go back into that event, into the gallery. So what you want to do from that, you want to go like I just did now. So what you're going to want to do is go to your My Account under events.
Yeah.
Right. And go into your gallery.
That's what I did. And they're not there.
So what is there though? Nothing's there?
Nothing's there.
That
Except
means
for the
nothing.
name of the event.
Oh, okay. So maybe what you needed to do is close your event. They haven't uploaded. That's what that means. Whatever device you're operating under, it hasn't uploaded. So this is a good way. This is a good
Okay. That's
this is a
probably
good
what I
way.
didn't do.
This is a good way to show you exactly what went wrong here. Let me go back here. And I'm going to connect again. This is a good place to see if your stuff actually. Okay, here we go. So this is a good place to see is if you go into your TouchPix, not sure if you close that event, but if you go into TouchPix and you click on the menu, right? And you hit this button right here where it says queue. So what queue does, even if you're at a location where you don't have internet connection or it's sketchy and people are still punching in their phone numbers, right? Queue saves all that information, right? It'll save all those numbers in the order that they're being inputted. And whenever it is that you do have good internet connection, it starts sending everything out, right? So if you're in a place that doesn't have good signal, you're struggling with internet connection, and people are saying, oh, well, I haven't received my text message yet, that's because they're in your queue because your internet level is not where it needs to be. And you're going to want to go into queue. If you tap on queue, you're going to see a list right in here, right? In your case, since you didn't see your videos on your gallery, you probably have numbers right in this area that says in-app gallery pending, meaning that they haven't uploaded yet, right? Once they upload, you could force them and hit re-upload all files. You can force to send out any of these. In my case, they're already green, meaning that everything that I have for this webinar has sent out, right? But this is a good location for you to look next time, right? If you don't see your videos uploaded to your gallery, they're probably pending. You might want to hit re-upload, make sure everything uploads onto the right gallery online. Okay.
Okay. Gotcha. I gotcha.
Okay. Okay. So the next step I wanted to show, which is one of the final steps, is how to sync it to your sharing station, right? There's this common question that I get all the time is, hey, how do I sync TouchPix to my sharing station? And how does it work? Let me see here. So what I want to do here is, okay, I need to log in. You guys have any other questions while I'm logging in with a separate device to show you this sharing station?
Yes, I have a question.
Sure.
Is there any video that shows you like all the effects that's offered through TouchPix?
There's actually one video there's actually multiple videos, and I'll point you to the right location. Just give me 1 second. I definitely will point you to the right location.
Another question.
Go ahead.
I noticed that the location that you are doing this tutorial in looks like an RV.
You are, man, and you missed it. So I was COVID positive, so I'm isolating from my family currently. So typically it's not done in my RV. I have a little studio that I do my stuff in.
And the reason I was asking, because I was wondering if your RV was also your marketing, like photo booth bus that you drive around the city in, and have all this.
No, man. Actually, there is some legitimate businesses that do that. Mine is just for camping with the kids and stuff, man.
Okay. Second question. My photo booth, my 360 booth is heavy as hell. How do you pick it up and load it by yourself if you have to? Like
yes. So not knowing the specifics of your photo booth situation, right? Mine comes in a case, in a hard case with wheels, right? Or I can point you of what the major some of the major things the industry does, right? They actually buy um, dollies, right? They're called rock and rollers,
I have
right?
a rock and roller. I have
Yeah,
one.
so a lot of people have rock and rollers and load it on those things, right? It
How do
really
you,
depends how big your unit is, to be honest
yeah,
with you.
you can fit up to 4 people on mine. It's a deluxe auto spin thing. It's kind of pretty big. My question is, how do you lift it up into the truck? I got a Lincoln Navigator.
Oh man,
Navigator.
yeah, that can be a little heavy, man. Look, like I said, I own a multi-op company, so I have a DJ and photo booth business. So for me, it's easy because I have a trailer with the ramp, right? So I just roll it right up there.
And
You know
that's
what I
what
mean?
I'm getting. A little trailer to put on the back of the Navigator with the
Yeah,
ramp to roll everything in. That's
yeah.
what I
It just makes things so much easier, man. You know, once you're
that's,
in and you're out, and you
that's
don't
what
have to unload twice. I got tired of unloading twice, right? You get home and you still gotta unload the trailer. Nah, everything stays in my unit and locked up and good to go.
does your trailer like is it heat temperature or something?
Yeah, so what I did with my trailer, man, and I'm out of the West Coast too, man. So I don't battle the elements of maybe what some of you guys do and the East Coast with the snow and stuff like that. But what I did with my trailer, because like I said, I also have a DJ company and there's a lot of electronics in there that are pretty sensitive to temperature. So I removed all the panel and I added some insulation, right? There's like the styrofoam boards that they sell at any hardware store, and I insulated my whole trailer, man, with insulation. So everything in there is pretty secure. I don't have to worry about leaving stuff out there in cold climates, and it's good to go, man.
So even like, cause I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, so we got a lot of heat out there, but not no Midwest heat. So my question is, if I insulated my trailer, would that keep my stuff warm enough not to have to take it in and out every day?
Yeah, it should, man. There shouldn't be any issues with that.
Okay.
Yeah, there
All
shouldn't be
right.
any issues with that. Okay, so I'm gonna jump into the sharing station real quick, and then if you guys if I missed a question, I apologize. Please, stop me if I missed a question, because man, this COVID thing's making my focus. It's messing with my focus sometimes. So
Right.
here we.
Quick question in the chat box.
Okay, cool. And I apologize if I missed.
No, sorry. I should have just spoken, but you were talking, so I just texted it.
Okay, and which one was your question, man?
So I was just asking about ScanPix.
Oh, okay.
Is it usually used when you don't have a good internet connection?
Well, I use ScanPix all the time. It's my go-to, right? But you have to be familiar with how it works. ScanPix for me, it's a phenomenal piece of software. The investment is very minimal with ScanPix. You buy an $80 router, right, from Walmart, and that $80 router is basically gonna save you a lot of money because now I don't have to invest in mobile hotspots, right? I don't have to take internet with me to make sure my events are being executed and the files are being shared. So what you do with ScanPix is you configure your router. There's a video I'm going to point you to on how to do that step by step, right? And you're going to get, and I'll show you what ScanPix is. So it'll be better if I show you than actually try to explain it to you. But before I go there, let me just explain the sharing station real quick, and then we'll go into the ScanPix real quick. So,
Perfect. Yeah.
I'm using a camera here. And again, I apologize. This is not my normal setup, but we're gonna make do, right? On my iPad, this is my iPad right here. I scanned my iPad. If you look at it, it says sharing station mode. So when I opened up the TouchPix app, I hit activate event and I indicated I wanted the sharing station activation, and it loads up your event, and there's my iPhone. So this is how you set up your sharing station. First and foremost, I want you guys to go into your settings on your iPad. Once you go over to your settings, I need you guys to go over to where it says general, right? Right under general to the right, you're going to see airdrop. Make sure airdrop is set to everyone, right? Then you're going to go to the left and click on display and brightness. Under display and brightness to the right, you're going to see auto lock, and you're going to set auto lock to never. This prevents your iPad from falling asleep. A lot of the connection problems happen when your iPad falls asleep. Make sure you do the same thing to your iPhone. It helps, right? You don't need to do it, but it helps, right? Now you're going to go into TouchPix, and it's simple. So what you're going to do now is click on gallery. Once you click on gallery, you're going to see a circle with a letter inside of it. You're going to click on the circle, and you always start with your sharing station, which is the iPad. I'm going to activate it as the receiver. You're going to see the R. Now you're going to go over to your iPhone, click on this letter with the circle, and activate it as a sender. You're going to see the name of the iPad. This is the iPad here. It says success. That green R turned into a red R, right? I'm ready to go. Now you're going to see the files are going to jump over to the iPad wirelessly, right? So this is just your sharing kiosk. That's all it is, right? We're going to wait for the file to jump over now. It should be establishing the connection, and the connection should be there. Pending that I.
On average, Mr. TouchPix, how fast does the sharing take to get from the cell phone to the iPad?
Well, it shouldn't take longer than, there's the things that play a factor into this. This is communicated via Bluetooth and Wi-Fi direct. So you want to keep them, I wouldn't keep them apart at a distance of more than 15 feet away from one another. The closer, the faster it's going to be, but you're looking at anything from about 40 seconds and lower, right? If you have them at a good distance. It can take longer if you have them further away from one another, right? And in this case, the file jumped onto the screen. This is your sharing kiosk. So as soon as the people jump out of the platform, they go over to the sharing kiosk, they click the thumbnail, right? There it is, it's doing the video playback. These are all my sharing options. Like I said, email, pretty self-explanatory. Email comes up. Text message, the text pad comes up, right? QR code. For people that are at home, go ahead and scan that QR code. You'll be able to download the file, right? These are the people that are at home. You can scan that QR code and you'll have access to that practice video I did here in the RV.
And really quickly, with the QR code and all the other options, there's no way to track emails and phone numbers from the QR codes, correct? Or from the airdrops, correct?
Not from the QR codes, correct? Not from the airdrops either. Not yet, at least. I don't think that's something we've really looked at, but if it's a request, then that's something we can look at.
Yeah, I think the numbers, emails are perfect.
Yeah, so then we have, like I said, I think on this one, we have WhatsApp. This is the WhatsApp. And we have the share option, which you can do Instagram or whatever else you have your stuff connected to, right? You can do it that way. So gives you different options for sure.
DJ, I have a question.
Sure.
With the Apple TV, do you recommend the 32 gigabyte or the 64 if I'm going to get a 4th generation?
The 32 is fine. You're not storing any files on there, so the file size really doesn't really matter. So you'll be fine with the 32.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
I did have a question about that Apple TV, DJ.
Okay, go ahead.
So I noticed that you're using a website called AirPlay TV or something.
No, that's the Apple protocol. That's how they communicate with one another.
With Windows computers?
No. So where are you looking at that?
when you were sharing your screen from the computer, I saw something called AirPlay TV.
No, that's just an app that I'm using now, so you guys can see my iPhone on the screen. That's all.
But that's why I was asking, because because I have a Microsoft PC, a laptop. So could I use that same thing and mirror my Windows laptop to a regular TV and use that as my screen while I'm at the event? So do I has to be an Apple TV?
Well, I mean, we recommend it's an Apple TV. We really haven't tested all the different options. I've made it work with an Amazon Fire Stick before, but it's not something that we can support, right? So will it work? Probably. You could probably get it to work, but it's just something that we're not really too familiar with, because we really, the more devices you throw out there, we want to be consistent with the support, right?
Gotcha. All right, cool. I'll do my little finagling, but thank you, brother.
No problem, man. All right, so now I want to answer the question regarding ScanPix, right? Because I do think ScanPix is, and I appreciate you guys staying on board. I know it's been a long night, but I definitely want to point you guys in the right direction. So go to TouchPix, YouTube. TouchPix does have a YouTube page, right? And for those that are interested in ScanPix, right? Let's, if you guys subscribe to the YouTube page, the TouchPix YouTube page, you will see a brief tutorial. Instead of having to see this entire video over again, Mr. Martin, who's the developer of TouchPix, he actually has little brief tutorials for sharing stations, for ScanPix, for how to add the video effects. It's right on here. You don't have to look for this video all the time on YouTube and go through the whole thing. You can just come here first. And of course, if you don't see it, feel free to shoot us an email or revert to this video, right? But this is what ScanPix is right here, right? It's not the lady doing yoga. Let me get rid of that ad real quick. And I'll explain it to you as best as I can. I know you guys can't hear it, but you guys will be able to see it. So ScanPix is a way to share without the internet. You don't need any internet, active internet. Let me put it to you that way. It uses your router connection, right? And what you're going to want to do with ScanPix, right, is, let me go into the settings of ScanPix real quick. This is the router that we recommend. The router is called a TP-Link router. TP-Link, I'm going to put it in the chat real quick. You can buy it at Walmart. If you do a search on Walmart, you'll see it. It's usually on sale for no more than $99. If you're lucky, you'll see it for $79.99 somewhere. That's the router model, and that's the model number, AX3000. So you set up your router, and what ScanPix is it'll give you two QR codes. One QR code is to log into the router. The second QR code will allow you to access that file, right? So I'm going to explain to you his quick setup. Watch this video. I also have a YouTube video going step by step on how to set this up. And if you guys get stuck, feel free to give us a call. Like I said, we have a support team, and the ScanPix stuff, probably we'll have to schedule a call, right? Because it does take a little bit of time, but we don't mind helping people out on getting it up and going. So as you can see, he's scanning the first QR code to log into the internet. Once it's logged into his router, log into the network, let me rephrase that. Once it's logged into his router, he's going to show you that the camera app, he's just using a general camera app. He's clicking the second one, and then now it takes him to his file, right? And from his file, he just clicks download, and the person automatically downloads that content onto their phone automatically. It's on their downloads. iPhone make things a little redundant sometimes, but it's on their actual phone. And TouchPix also has a way where you can put your information up here, your business name, and it stores on that. It can store on that person's cell phone if they choose to save your contact info, right? So he's showing how it works on Androids too. He's doing it on an Android. This is the actual setup, right? He's gonna go through the quick setup for it. You're gonna have to go into the TouchPix app. Once you go into the TouchPix app, Well, actually, he's doing the router setup right now. When you buy your router, the only thing that you need to do differently is you're going to have to rename your router. We recommend that you rename your router something simple and basic. He named it Photo Booth Gallery. Super easy to remember. The password, use something really easy. It doesn't have any information, so you don't need to be really secretive about your router. You know, you can give it a password of like, I use enter 1234, right? And once you set your router up, you're going to toggle into TouchPix all the way to where it says web server. And then you're going to input all that information in here, right? You can put your website, you can put your phone number, you can put your business name. Then under Wi-Fi name, you're going to put whatever it is that you renamed that router under. Where it says Wi-Fi password, you're going to put whatever generic password you gave it. And once you're done doing that, you're going to enable the web server. That's very important for you to do. Once you enable the web server, right, he's explaining the process. Let me see where we're at with that. You're going to see a couple QR codes appear on the bottom. And you're going to set up your, you still need your, well, I guess you don't need your sharing station. You can use the iPhone for that. So he's going to go ahead and do a quick little demo, right? He's just recording himself real quick. The video's processing. The video played back. He just hit next. Now, this appears on your phone as a screensaver. So people can now walk up to the phone, scan it, and then scan the second QR code. And there's that video of him that he just did. Hopefully he'll show it. Let me see. Download. He's downloaded to his device. You can do the video playback right there. There it is.
DJ, question
Yeah.
with ScanPix.
Yeah.
So it looks like Martin only used one device. He used the iPhone and ScanPix. He didn't have a second device. So his iPhone was his capture device, but I didn't see him using an iPad on that little video. So does that mean with ScanPix you only need one?
Yeah, you don't need you don't need an iPad with ScanPix. The thing is, you can use it with one device. However, right, if you're going to want to use your Apple TV, right, then you're going to run into issues. Now you're going to need another device. But if you're just going to run a simple 360 session and you want to run it with ScanPix and you don't want to use the Apple TV or anything else, then yeah, you're fine with one device. It'll work. It'll definitely work.
Okay, so I plan on using the GoPro. So I see it's a GoPro in the capture device. So it could be an iPhone or an iPad. And then the other device is going to be one that's the sharing station. Is that what I'm saying? So if I'm using the GoPro, I will have two other devices.
You're going to need two devices.
And the sharing device.
Yeah, see, the thing with the GoPro that a lot of people need to understand is that GoPro almost needs its own device that's isolated to control the GoPro. You don't want to give it another task because it's already handling enough, right? So you want your second sharing station to be the one that has running your ScanPix, right? Because you don't want people hovering over the main device anyways, because you're not going to be able to start your next session if it's one device. So you always want to be able to do it quicker. And
okay, and for the overall grand scheme, the rental, somebody wants to do a grand thing. So I have the GoPro, I've got the capture device, got the iPad, and I see the I'm calling it the router. If I want to connect an Apple TV to that, do I just add Apple TV and that's it? And that
yeah, you can actually use an Apple TV. You can use your Apple TV with the. I would sync your Apple TV to the, if you're using the GoPro, to your iPhone. ScanPix, leave ScanPix connected to your router, right? Leave these two connected. Okay. You can screen mirror to your Apple TV from here, and it'll still work.
And that's your iPhone that actually is cellular, I guess you're saying, not just a regular iPhone.
No, it doesn't need to be. It doesn't need to be cellular to work that way. You can use a basically. So this is the thing. This is the thing with the GoPro and iPhone. They take up the Wi-Fi connection, right? However, the way the iPhone communicates with the Apple TV, you can still mirror it because of the Apple to Apple protocol. You can still mirror your iPhone to your Apple TV. You don't need any other special connections to it. Now, your Apple TV might not have QR codes because there's no active internet connection going through, right? But your Apple TV should still work fine as far as doing the video slideshows.
But then the sharing station, that one with the what your mouse is on now, that will be the one that has the QR codes on it, even though there's no internet to it. Is that right?
Correct. That'll just have the ScanPix
Okay,
QRs.
so in this whole setup, you don't need internet, but you can have the GoPro, the iPhone / iPad, then they sharing station and the TP device, and they can still get a QR code from that iPad as a sharing device, sharing station. Is that correct?
Correct. Through ScanPix, correct. That QR code will generate.
Then how do you get the QR code if you're just using the Apple TV?
Yeah, the QR code is independent. It's not Apple TV related. So if he's using it this way, right? The QR code that he's talking about is just to share the file that's generated through ScanPix. You're not getting a QR code pop up on the TV. The TV is only going to be playing his slideshow files, meaning that it's only going to be playing the slideshow of all the sessions that have already kind of generated.
Right. But if we weren't using ScanPix, would we be able to just have the QR code on the Apple TV?
Yeah, so if you weren't using ScanPix, then this iPad would be the one that you would want to mirror to your Apple TV. Right.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah, and then that way, yes, you can get the QR codes appear up on your Apple TV. Yeah, it's just a matter of playing with your setups and your workflows. Everybody has a different workflow, and like the more you practice at it, you're gonna find what works best for you.
Okay. I have a question not related to this, but for example, I just did a quick test on my iPhone, recording it, and it didn't save it. So how do I still don't understand, how do I finish up on an assignment? Went out, did a job, it's time to pack up. I want those videos, of course. What's the final thing I need to do?
So by you saying it didn't save it, it's not saved in your gallery. Is that what you're saying, on your phone?
That's
gallery?
correct. Yeah, it didn't save it at all. No, because I went back and it was gone again.
So what I would look at then, I would probably, in your situation, I would delete the app and reinstall it, because it sounds like you might have given permissions for everything else except to save. There's a permission at the very end when you install the app where you are allowing the app to save it onto the camera roll, right?
Okay.
Some people easily hit decline on that because they're going fast when they're installing the app. So try that, try reinstalling it, right? And make sure you're giving the app full permissions, right? Because that might be something that you're encountering right now.
Is that done on the iPhone, or is that done on the?
It's on the iPhone. Yeah.
That's probably what I didn't do. Okay, I got you. Okay, thank you.
No problem. Any other questions? You guys good? Okay. I got the time because I'm bored out of my mind in my RV right now, man. So definitely, if you guys have questions,
I do have one question. First of all, I don't know if you got my private message, but I would love this Zoom meeting link emailed to me so I can watch it over again.
Okay.
Does the ScanPix give you an opportunity to do all of this without internet? Without QR codes? Is it strictly QR code, or is there any way you can still obtain the phone number or email through ScanPix?
You know what? That's in the works. We actually, there was a working version that did that before this last version, but it hasn't moved. And I really, ask the developer if it's bringing that back or not. But there was a way where you can actually, before they actually download the file, it actually requested information like an email address that it's stored for you. So
and my only question is, if it doesn't do that now, is there an alternative program that I can use in the event that I'm at a place that doesn't have internet, but the client is still wants me to obtain that information on behalf of the client.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's no alternative program that'll work with TouchPix. But like I said, in that situation, even if you don't have internet, people that are punching in their phone numbers through the regular method of sending themselves a text message or email, all that stuff is already being saved onto your device till you close it. So it's a matter of when you move from that location to a location that does have internet. Say you leave the club and you go home or you go to your next event and they have a better Wi-Fi signal there, then it'll start sending everything out, right? And it'll keep track of all those emails that were inputted or all those phone numbers that were inputted.
Thank you.
No problem. Any other questions? All right, if there's no more questions, let me see. I don't want to leave anybody hanging here. Let me see. I'm looking at the chat bar real quick. Okay, so do me a favor for those people that are requesting this, shoot me an email, please. That way I can just reply to that because there's a lot of messages and I don't want to have to extract individual email addresses. So if you can shoot me an email, I provided my email address. I will link you to the recording of this video as soon as it's up and loaded. You can also go to the TouchPix website or go to my page here. My page is on YouTube. It's I have some random stuff there. It's under DJ Duke. You're going to see a 360 spinner, right? You're going to see a 360 spinner on that page. And usually my webinars are dated via or categorized by date. And I've missed the last couple as far as uploading, but I'm going to go ahead and work that now since I do have some time recovering from COVID in my RV. I'll have some time to edit and upload quickly. All right, if there's no more questions, I thank everybody for joining me tonight. I hope that this webinar was informative and I hope that I've answered most of your questions. Again, if you guys have any further questions, we do have the support line open and active. We will be active tomorrow. And, you know, if you guys are in the neighborhood in Las Vegas, February, join us and say hello and, you know, stop in and, you know, look at our new merchandise and look at some stuff that's going to be dropping our way soon. We will be at the Las Vegas Expo. We're going to have 2 booths and we're very happy. And there's going to be some discounts there. And we're looking at our yearly being discounted back down to $800. So definitely.
Quick question, DJ.
Yeah.
I know you said you're bored in your quarantine right now. I'm actually about to open my brand new iPad out of the box. If you do have some time, I'll direct message my number if you can actually help get me set up after this call is over.
Yeah, man. Shoot me. Let's and let me see. I can't see your face right now. Is this Jonathan?
It is.
Yeah, shoot me a DM. You can shoot me a DM on the chat where it's instead of everyone, you can actually just send it to myself and then we'll connect, man.
You're the host, right?
Yeah.
I'm sending you my number right now.
Cool, man. We'll connect.
Thank you. All right, you should have it.
All right. Thank you, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and terminate this and I'm going to go jump onto the other screen and try to help my boy Jonathan out.
Thank you.
Let's get that money. Okay. Happy New Year to everybody. And, you know, wishing you guys a prosperous new year. And hopefully you guys can continue to make that money. Have a good night.
Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Same to you. Good night.
Good night.